Hi. Well, the rose next to me right now needs absolutely no introduction. We all know who this is. I had trouble getting hold of this rose at the very beginning of the season. It completely sold out after its initial launch, and I was lucky enough to get a first glimpse of it up at the Chelsea Flower Show when new stock became available from the David Austin website, right in time for the Chelsea Flower Show and of course the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. This lovely thing is Elizabeth, the new introduction from David Austin Roses for 2022, and obviously named after Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, who this year celebrated her Platinum Jubilee. Now, much like Bring Me Sunshine, I'm not going to bring you my full review of this rose this year. In fact, I shall wait another year until National Rose Month 2023, once I've had the plant at least 12 months, so I can give you a decent opinion of how the bush is performing. But for now, the Elizabeth is here. I've received this as a potted rose. I'm going to keep this for several weeks just to get it established in this pot, and I'm going to plant mine in a really large container as well. Elizabeth is booked by David Austin Roses as a large bush rose, reaching in excess of 4 feet. I can already tell you that the growth habit is very much different to that of Bring Me Sunshine, which is quite floppy and long, and I think is going to reach more like about 5 feet once it's fully established. Elizabeth is going to form a very dense and bushy shrub rose with many thorns. You can already see the thorns from afar, very spiky indeed. The blooms are very pink. The buds, I'm going to show you this one here. Let's cut one of this off. I can't believe I'm sacrificing one of these. This is how committed to the cause I am. A very deep pink bud with large streaks of dark pink and cerise pink running up the outside. The foliage is very deeply serrated, pale green, and looks very much like a dog rose or an old dog rose in its form. The blooms are then going to open a beautiful true pink flower. I'm going to cut this one off for you as well. And unlike an awful lot of the David Austins, it's going to open completely flat, a saucer shaped bloom you can see here. Very flat indeed, with a slight hint of apricot and yellow running into the center, giving it a lovely peachy look right in the center. You can see it's already vigorous. It's going to be smothered in flowers. This small pot rose arrived with me just a couple of weeks ago. I've got maybe 7 or 8 individual blooms. Well, I haven't now because I've cut them off for you. I've got maybe 7 or 8 individual blooms here, and you can already see a couple of sprays of flowers coming up, going to be born in 3s, 4s and 5s. But Elizabeth from David Austin Roses is set to be a really good release from them this year, and I'm really excited to give you my proper thoughts on this one next year. Fragrance wise, it's a cool day. I'm not picking up on much of it at all, but at the Chelsea Flower Show it did have a very pleasant fragrance, and I'll look forward to exploring with you that a lot more with you next year. First impressions really go. A lot of people are saying they're quite shocked by how peachy yellow it is, especially the people that I was talking to up in the secret garden at Chelsea several weeks ago, when it was their first chance to get up close and personal with the rose as well. Planted right in the centre of that beautiful secret garden, together with Bring Me Sunshine. People were really quite stunned by just how peachy yellow this is in the centre. Very much like the look of a Stacia Vi, if anybody is growing that. The blooms obviously on this one are much smaller, only really reaching around 2.5 to 3 inches across, whereas Stacia Vi is producing really large blooms. But this one, again, if anybody does grow Boleyn from David Austin Roses, a very similar shaped flower, that's very distinctive saucer shaped bloom with the yellow tinges in the centre, very much like Boleyn. But I shall look forward to bringing you my full review of this rose next year, but it's set to excite me. It is beautiful.